In any case, we can see that young people in Hungary want to have children and to get married in their future. But on the other hand, according to the data, the population in Hungary has been shrinking and getting older. Trends of the last few decades show that young people in Hungary regularly postpone starting a family. So it is very important to examine why young people's plans to have a family are not realized.
Hello and welcome. It is my honor to introduce Georgina Kozma, Head of Research at the Youth Research Institute, for part 2 of our fascinating conversation on family in the age of uncertainty. Gina, welcome.
I would like to welcome everyone, and Audrey, thank you for hosting this conversation.
Of course. It is an honor to be here, and I want to get started right away with a really important question on family formation. Many young people want to be married and have children today, but they keep postponing the time to get married and have their first child. Why? What are the main barriers to family formation?
In the previous episode, we are talking about that the youth life stage has changed a lot in the few decades thanks to the many societal changes. These main changes are globalization, the spread of digital media, and the polycrisis. So in such a world, young people usually or regularly postpone starting to family. For those, we can observe that for those under 29, we can often only examine future plans, for example, in relation to starting a family. In Hungary, we regularly ask young people about their plans for the future. And in 2020, they were asked about how important they think that it is to have children and to start a family, and the vast majority of them said that it is very important to have family. The majority considered that it is not possible to lead a happy and fulfilled life without children. And in a research conducted by the Youth Research Institute in 2023, we asked young people about their ideas for the future. We wanted to know how they imagine their lives in 2050. The vast majority of the respondents who were young people between the ages of 15 and 29, the majority of them hope to live in a much better financial circumstances, to live in Hungary, and to work on the same field they studied. In any case, we can see that young people in Hungary want to have children and to get married in their future. But on the other hand, according to the data, the population in Hungary has been shrinking and getting older. Trends of the last few decades show that young people in Hungary regularly postpone starting a family. So it is very important to examine why young people's plans to have a family are not realized. And if it is very important to them to have children, the question arises what the main barriers are. And such an external obstacles could be that half of the young people in Hungary believe that they have to choose between career and family in 2020. And in 2020, they were asked about what could be helpful or what they need to have children or to have more children. And first and foremost, good financial circumstances, their own home, the right partner, and the supportive work environment, majority for parenthood, and marriage. So we can see that the third most frequently mentioned factor was the right partner. So in 2020, they were asked about what outside help would help them to find the right partner. And a third of the respondents named suitable and accessible community places where young people can meet with others. Almost a quarter said that well-functioning online dating platforms would be very helpful. And the fifth of the respondents named good functioning or well-functioning dating clubs.
Wow. Well, so let's talk about online dating. I like that young Hungarians are seeking out opportunities to meet in person. I think that's really key. And I would love to hear your thoughts. But first, I want to hear about the latest research from the Youth Research Center at MCC, which looked at the online dating habits of young people in Hungary. What were the results?
Based on the previous research, we decided in the Youth Research Institute that we analyzed the dating habits of young people at the beginning of these years. And we wanted to know how they think about relationships and online dating platforms. And just a few data from the research, we asked 1,000 young people between the ages of 15 and 29 in Hungary, and the sample was representative, of course. We continue to see that young people in Hungary want to get married, and they consider it is important to have family. But the vast majority of them think that it is not easy to find the right partner nowadays, and they think that it is difficult to find a suitable and accessible community places where they can meet with other young people. And they also think that using online dating platforms is not the best way to build a healthy and good relationship. But we also asked them about their experiences and opinions with online dating platforms. The majority of them agreed with the statement that these online dating platforms have more dangerous than advantages when it comes to build a good relationship. It can be linked to the fact that almost half of the respondents had already had some negative experiences with online dating platforms. And they don't think that the profiles are registered on online dating platforms can reflect or usually reflect the reality. I would like to mention that we were curious about how young people think about what makes a relationship a relationship. Half of the respondents rather agreed with the statement that it is considered a relationship if they involve each other in their lives. For example, they introduce them to family members or friends, and they talk to each other regularly in person, on the phone, or online. But around 40% of them rather disagree with the statement that it counts a relationship if they meet regularly in person, or at least a few months have passed since the first meeting, which can be an indication that long distance relationships are becoming more and more accepted in this age group. And finally, we were very curious about how social media presence affects the notion of relationship at this stage of life. Based on the data, we can conclude two main findings. First, young people in Hungary are likely to believe in monogamous relationship as they think that it is very important for partners not to meet with others and not to look after a relationship online. And the other findings is that young people the other findings is that social media presence is not so crucial for them, as the majority of them don't think that it is important to change their relationship status on their online or on their social media pages, and they don't believe that it is important or crucial to share content, for example, pictures or videos on their social media pages.
That's fascinating. And it is in line with what I've experienced in Hungary, that most of my friends try to avoid social media, or if they use it, they complain about it, and they complain about online dating. And it seems there is such a desire today for real human interaction, face to face, in person, and for relationships to begin via random meetings in coffee shops or at parties or introductions from friends, that often seems preferable, I think, to the young generation. And yet, so many of us are still using dating apps. So, I would love to talk a little bit more about this new technology and where we're going as a society in Hungary. If youth want to get married and have kids, and if dating apps sometimes are helpful, but sometimes aren't, and there's this desire to engage in person, do you have any predictions for the next few years and how we're going to handle this situation?
It is a tough call because, yes, we don't know yet, but I'm pretty sure that that because of these societal changes and because the big problems of this generation are this uncertainty and the crisis of communities, the basic communities of the society, such as a family or the institution of family, should be protected and promoted, because the modern way of life doesn't promote the traditional family formation. And young people want to live in communities. And communities and friends are very important to them. So I think that we should help them to build strong communities and strong families and strong nations.
This is a culture war, ultimately,
Yes.
as society is changing and we're becoming more and more dependent on our phones. We, as a society, have to decide where we draw the line, how much time we spend on our phones, and how dedicated we are to trying to interact with those around us to build families and support our communities. So, on that note, I want to close perhaps with where viewers can learn more about your work or what's coming next for the Youth Research Institute. What can we expect next?
We in the Youth Research Institute strongly believe that we should focus, or our research should focus on the fundamentals of society, and we should focus on the fundamentals questions. So we continue this work, and we try to understand what is happening to the family and what the consequences of these changes will be on our lives. So this is our main goals.
Well, I look
This
forward.
is one of our main goals.
I look forward to seeing more of your great work. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.